Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, taking a look at this little engine right here. Except it's not so little. This is actually a pretty big engine. So this is a Clinton. I believe this is out of a wheel horse garden tractor of some kind. They called these Red Horse engines. I think that was their purpose. They may have also been used on other stuff, I'm not sure. But obviously this engine is separated from whatever it came from now. I bought this from an auction, paid $8 for it, thanks to Bontrager auction service. And here it is. It is a running engine. It took a little bit of work to get it to that point. So this is a model, let's see if I can get that to focus. Maybe not. The tag's not going to focus, but it's a model 2500. I believe it's one of the biggest engines that they made, if not the biggest. It's around 9 horsepower, I think. 9 or 10. I mean, you can tell how big it is. Just looking at my other Clinton sitting over here. But yeah, I had it running. I will include some running footage of it, since I don't really have a place to start it up right now, but I have had it running. It ran fairly well for a good 15-20 minutes. I think it's pretty decent. Now, maybe in the light it'll focus a little better. And you can kind of read the 2500 there. It's got a 2-belt pulley on it. Likely, if it was a wheel horse engine, one belt back to drive the transmission and then the other for a PTO, run a deck or snowblower or whatever you had on it. I'm sure the most obvious thing is this gas tank, which is clearly not the correct size and is spaced out with a chunk of 2x4. And the reason for that is because I have the original tank right here, but if you flip it over, you can see it's a little bit crunchy on the underside there, which is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. I've been looking, it seems like I can probably find a tank for it fairly easily. I think I saw a couple of them for sale online, so at some point I'll pick up a correct tank and get that back to the original fuel tank. But for now, this little one on the side here is okay to at least make it run. Swinging around over here, we got a nice Carter carburetor. This is a particularly large Carter carburetor. I've never previously worked on one this big, from what I recall. The Carter carburetors that I'm used to are on my smaller Clintons and also on my Cub Cadets. But it seems like an equally good carburetor. The Carters that later became Kohler carburetors are always pretty good carburetors overall. So overall, it's a pretty neat engine, I'd say. It's a heavy sucker. Here on the shroud, you can see what's left of the original Clinton Arrowhead badge. That's neat. There's enough original paint and stuff left on it that I don't actually want to repaint this. I think I'd like to leave it alone just like it is. It's a shame I can't have the original fuel tank, but oh well, it's not the end of the world. The only thing it's missing is this air filter, which is a little unfortunate because I'm sure that's not an easy part to find, but it's also not the end of the world for me since I don't do very much with these engines. It's also missing the points cover, but that doesn't really matter to me either. I stuck that muffler on there because it didn't have a muffler before. It is a pull start engine. There's quite a bit of engine there to pull over, but that's just about how it is. I've got a couple other engines that are of a similar size that you have to pull over by hand too. But overall, it's a neat little engine, and it's a nice running engine too. It'd be cool to use it for something, but I'm not sure what I'd use it for. For the time being, it'll probably just be a display piece. So now I just want to take a minute to talk about what I've been doing. I haven't really uploaded to this channel much in a while. Well, not much has changed really. I'm still wrenching on stuff, same as I've always been. Slowly gathering more and more stuff. There's a bunch more engines here than I had previously. A lot of them will probably end up in their own videos at some point. A couple of them you've seen before, like the Maytag, the little Clinton 350 behind it, and then the Kohler back there. I think those have shown up in videos before. Of course, the 111's chilling over here. That hasn't gone anywhere. This over here is a custom home-built garden tractor kind of thing. That'll have its own video eventually. My 106 racing mower, and a bunch of electric motors that I believe I think most of them have made it on in some capacity to the channel. But there's another engine over here. Sneak peeks at some future videos about stuff. That's another Clinton. Built it up to a generator. And then over here in the corner are my hit and miss projects. The Nelson Brothers, you've seen that before. Just got to start buying some parts for that to get that project going. And I also got to work on the Governor's setup. I got to drill out some pins in the one flywheel and then in one of the weights, and then get the collar loose for the Governor. And then my 1.5 horse Hercules here, as you can see, it's got one flywheel off it, and that's because it needs a flywheel. The old flywheel is sitting up here, but I don't know if you can see that there. That's a nice crack right along there. I think that shows up, and that cracks all the way through the hub on this. And it might be cracked in another spot too, but because of the crack, it won't tighten up onto the crank anymore. So that flywheel is just loose on there. So I gotta find another one of those. Fortunately, the 1.5 horse Hercules is not a very hard to find engine or hard to find parts for engine, so I'll find one for it eventually. It's just a matter of time. And that's a little generator that I gotta get going at some point. It's not really anything special, but it's there. obviously, over the winter, it got cold like it does, and I switched for the time being from working on engines and stuff to model trains. I got real into model train stuff, particularly vintage stuff, mainly by the name of Varney, as I'm sure I made clear with my Yellowstone video. I have 2 Yellowstones now. I've yet to make a video on the other one. That'll come eventually. There's a little model Cub Cadet. But, yeah, working on the model trains was easier. I could keep those inside where it was warm. Stay out of the shop because it's not heated out here during winter. But now that the weather's back nice, it's a prime time to be working on stuff, and the shows are coming up too, so making sure my engines are all running and ready for Pike Fair and Alexander Steam Show 2024. It's not too far away now, so we'll see. I've also been working on a couple things for my grandfather, working on his Farmall Cub. He gave me one that's been on the channel before, a 1950 Cub that turned out to be a demonstrator model. But then he has his own. It's a 51, and he restored it 17 years ago now. It was sitting in the barn over at their house, and I got it out of there, got it running again for him, and cleaned it up. Still looks real nice. I'll stick a picture in of it. And I was also working on a little 2-cycle moped. Not even going to try and say the name, because I don't know. I'll stick a picture in of that as well. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Still working on stuff. Trying to get into working. I need more funds for all of my projects. So that's where I'm at right now. Hopefully I'll get back to making more videos soon. Like I said, I got all these engines here. I'm going to make videos on all of them. Each one that hasn't been featured before will be in a video, and there's 1 or 2 here that haven't been made running yet, so I gotta do that still. And then, yeah, always stuff to work on. But I guess that's about it for this one. So if you like these old vintage gas engines, old garden tractors, farm tractors, or vintage HO scale locomotives, or even O scale locomotives, I've got HO and O, do consider subscribing. Stick around. I've got lots of those to talk about, lots of engines, tractors, all kinds of stuff to make videos about and post for you guys to see. I'd like to make this channel a nice big collection of information on these kinds of things. There's not always a whole lot of information out there about some of these engines or some of those model trains or tractors or whatever, so that's my goal. And if you like the old Clinton 2500 there, consider leaving a like. I know I'm just doing this for fun, but it does mean a lot seeing that there's so many people who enjoy watching stuff, looking at these old engines and tractors and models and stuff. There's like 592 of you right now. That does mean a lot. It's nice to see so many people that are still into this kind of stuff. So, thank you. I appreciate it. I know I haven't really made a big celebration over hitting 500 or any of the milestones or whatever, but I don't know if it needs a celebration or not. I just like to thank everyone for it, because it does mean a lot. It means a lot to me to have some support with this and keep on making videos. So, but yeah, that's about it for this one. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and as always, thank you for watching.